Hello, my name is Marco Foyot. Welcome to all the fans of the sport Petanque. Nowadays, Petanque is considered as a sport in its own right. It's also an outdoor activity, a school for fair play, a relaxation and a leisure activity. It has taken me 20 years to become a champion, 20 keen years of training and competition. This introductory video is aimed at beginners of all ages. With my experience, I would like to help you to play boule to the best of your ability. How to play. Petanque is an easy game for anybody to learn. A game is generally played to 13 points at a distance of 6 to 10 meters. In singles, each player uses 3 boules. Doubles is played by teams of 2 players. Each player uses 3 boules. Triples is played by teams of 3, using 2 boules each. Here is an example. A team with light boule plays against a team with black boule. One team draws a circle and throws the jack. Here it's red, 6 to 8 meters. The aim of the game is to throw your boules closer than those of your opponent to the jack. The jack in French is called the coche. You point to get the boules close to the jack. You shoot to get rid of an opponent's ball by hitting it. As you can see, our sport isn't complicated. I'm going to introduce you to 3 of my students. During the next 30 minutes, I shall be showing you the first steps for a good grounding in our great sport. Here is the youngest, David, 12 years old. François, 36 years old, a senior. And our veteran, Georges, he's 65. Choosing your boule. As with all sports, it's advisable to carefully choose the equipment for the game. In Petanque, the boule should be adapted to your style of game. Furthermore, the type of boule should be chosen according to the type of terrain being played on. The type of terrain and game. Boule without stripes and of a light weight are mainly used on dry and smooth terrain. Heavier boule with stripes are preferred for games on heavier or bumpy terrains, as the boule can roll much better over natural obstacles like stones and bumps. The shape of the hand. You should choose the diameter and the weight of your boule with regard to the shape of your hand, of your fingers, as well as the shape of your palm. This way, you'll ensure both a good grip in your hand and the most natural game. The types of play. If you want to become a pointer, your choice should be for boule with a small diameter, between 71 and 73 millimeters, weighing between 720 and 740 grams. A boule with stripes follows the terrain better. For shooting, the boule should be larger, between 74 and 77 millimeters diameter, smooth, with few stripes. For playing in triplets, you can choose intermediate boule with some stripes, a diameter between 74 and 75 millimeters, and weighing between 690 and 720 grams. For my part, I play with soft boule, CX, COU 4-star, plain, as well as GTI and ATX, 76 millimeter diameter and a weight of 700 grams. These are the boules for shooting, marked with my name. Practicing the game. Consistency, like in most sports, is the main quality of the Petanque player. To progress, you must develop good habits and have the time to practice. How to hold the ball in your hand. Your hand should hold the ball in a natural way, with the fingers side by side around its surface, the thumb lightly bent in an extension of the wrist. Above all, don't be tense or grip the ball too tightly. The student has his fingers too spread apart. He must bring them together and be able to feel the ball freely moving in the palm of the hand. The back of the hand must be in line with the forearm, like this. Throwing the ball. When you throw a ball, you must control its movement. Throughout the swing of your arm, your hand must cover the ball, the palm facing downward. When you first start playing petanque, it can be tempting to throw the ball with the palm facing upwards. This defect must be quickly corrected because it doesn't allow any control of the ball. To throw well, you need to harmoniously combine the swing of your arm, which gives length and the direction to the ball, whilst at the same time bringing your arm back, acting as a counterweight. You also need to bend your knees, and at the end of the throw, your chest comes forward. All of this, with practice, should become automatic. The position in the circle. To play a shot, you enter the circle that you will have previously marked on the ground. You stand feet together, your knees pointing towards the jack. Your posture is balanced. Your position on the ground must be stable. To work out the best angle for your throw, you can position yourself anywhere in the circle without touching the edge. The position of the body. When throwing, you can either be squatting or upright. You point from a squatting position in a short game when the cosh is from 6 to 8 meters from the circle. Being closer to the ground, you'll have a better view of the terrain and any unevenness. You have to find your balance, and you do this by bending your knees and sitting well down on your heels, which are raised from the ground. The leg corresponding to the throwing hand should be slightly advanced in the direction of the jack. You point from a standing position in the long game from 8 to 10 meters as you would for shooting. To succeed at a shot, it's advisable to face the jack, your feet well positioned, firmly in the center of the circle. Pointing. For pointing, you have the choice between several types of throw. The rolling throw. To make a rolling throw, it's necessary to throw your ball as close as possible to the circle. The path of the ball is flat, fairly close to the ground. You throw like this from a squatting position on a terrain that's smooth and dry. To control the length of your shot, you lift your arm backwards, the palm always pointing towards the ground. The ball leaves your hand very early while your arm swings across your body. The half lob. The half lob amounts to throwing a ball a little bit higher than for a rolling throw. The path of the ball follows a bell-shaped arc and touches the ground midway between the edge of the circle and the jack. The half lob is carried out from a squatting position for a short game with the jack from 6 to 8 meters, and from a standing position for a long game with the jack at 8 to 10 meters. The half lob is the easiest way to point. It's used mainly on sandy or clay terrain. The length of your throw is worked out taking into account the height of the throw. The higher the ball goes, the less it rolls when it hits the ground. The height of its path depends on the moment when you let go of the ball. The lob. The lob, commonly called chandelle, candle in French, consists of throwing the ball very high into the air. The ball should touch the ground 1 or 2 meters from the coche. This way, the ball rolls very little, just as if its near vertical descent was acting as a brake. The lob is difficult to learn. You'll have to train a long time to have a good feel for this type of throw. It's used mainly on soft terrain, where the ball will only roll a little. Spin. At the instant of throwing, when you let go of the ball, your fingers can release the ball, making it spin. So you can spin the ball, which will govern its course on the ground. Let's examine the range of spins that are available to you. The natural game. The natural game, that is, without spin, is the normal game. You throw the ball, keeping your hands straight throughout the length of the throw, your palm facing the ground. At the end of the movement, your fingers release the ball and stay pointing towards the jack. You must control the path of the ball. You must try and prevent any involuntary tensing of your fingers or of your wrists, which can cause the ball to deviate from its course. Clockwise spin. You make the ball move from the right to the left by spinning the ball clockwise. When it hits the ground, its course will noticeably deviate towards the left. Anti-clockwise spin. You can make the ball move from left to right by spinning the ball in an anti-clockwise direction. When it hits the ground, its course will noticeably move towards the right. Oh well, there we are. The only thing left is for you to try and apply these principles. Like my pupils, you will realize that your natural game will remain the most effective way of playing. Nevertheless, in your future games, you can utilize spin to avoid a ball that's in your way or an uneven part of the terrain. So, good luck. Shooting. Shooting is a difficult art. For me, it is an intense, incomparable moment, but it can also be an unforgiving act. A successful tier can give you a real buzz. Missing one, on the other hand, makes you feel like you've completely wasted a shot. There are a number of principles to help you succeed. A successful tier depends on having a regular swing. Swing your arm in a supple way, bending your knees, aiming your throw straight forward. As you bring your body up, your arm comes back to your side. According to the length of your shot, the movement of your body should support your aim. You should slightly bend forwards for short shots. For long shots, the opposite. You should stand well upright. What must be said is that you need to learn to take a good aim at your target. It's up to you to choose between a shot that's hard and direct and one that's soft and lobbed. The front shot. There are many different ways of shooting according to the type of terrain or the game. The front shot consists in shooting short. You should stand upright facing the jack. When you throw your ball, it should land about 20 centimeters in front of your target, which will give you the best chance of hitting it. Often, when you start, you want to do well. Your aim is directly in line with the ball, but you pass just over it. The front shot enables you to avoid jumping over the ball. The direct shot. The direct shot is the most difficult to carry out. Being more precise, your ball should directly hit the target. If your ball hits and takes the place of the target ball, we say that you've made a carreau. The direct shot is mainly reserved for hard and uneven terrain. On these types of terrain, hitting your target can often be risky. You must land onto the target to avoid bouncing to the side because of a stone or an unevenness that you didn't see. The carreau is the highest achievement of the shooter. To succeed regularly at such shots, I've had to work many years to acquire a great suppleness in my wrist. It's worth the effort of training because there's nothing better than a well-executed carreau. The rolling shot. Usually, you use a rolling shot on a smooth terrain. You throw the ball hard at the ground so that it hits the ground several meters in front of the target. Personally, I'm not keen on rolling shots. For me, it often destroys the game by provoking multiple collisions between balls, which can play tricks on you. In general, according to the game, you should always consider all possible outcomes, a bit like billiards. Personal training. As in all sports, to progress you will have to practice. In one word, you must train yourself. After you've learnt the basics of the game, I'm going to show you now the basics of personal training which will allow you to fully enjoy and improve your game. Pointing. Position of the body. We're going to start the training by working on the position of the body, in a squatting position. For this, you must practice shooting at a target situated 3 or 4 meters in front of you. Try also to throw the ball perfectly straight. La donne, the landing spot. La donne is the spot where the ball touches the ground. Here is a little exercise to help you to control the length and the height of your shots. Let's start by drawing at different distances from the circles. Several circles about 15 centimeters in diameter. Squatting, it only remains for you to throw your ball into these circles with precision. Hitting the target. Draw 3 concentric circles on the ground, each about 12 centimeters apart. Give a score to each circle and from 10 meters away, throw a series of 4 or 5 ball at your target. Add up your score. Monitor how you progress. Working with spin. You've just drawn a straight line on the ground. Position yourself in the circle. From there, teach yourself to throw your ball, giving it some spin in a way so that it crosses the line from left to right or from right to left. Shooting. Hitting the target. In order to get a good proportion of hits, I advise you to get into the habit of using a beam on which you'll carefully place some ball and some jacks. Place this beam at different distances and try to hit the target. This technique will teach you how to avoid shooting short by raising your arm really high when you throw. Succeeding at carreau. To succeed at a maximum of carreau, here is a good tip on how to improve. Draw a circle of 50 centimeters diameter. Put a ball in the middle and from 6 meters practice hitting it without your own ball leaving the circle. As you improve, draw your circle a little bit further away or reduce its diameter. The jumping shot. 8 meters from the circle, place 2 balls, one behind the other, separated by the diameter of a ball. The exercise consists of hitting the ball behind without touching the ball in front. You can make things harder by placing 3 balls in the same way and trying to hit the ball in the middle without touching the other 2. Multiple shots. To succeed at an isolated shot is one thing. To produce them consistently is another. In order to consolidate your shooting, I advise you to tire or shoot at 3 balls placed in a triangle. You can also vary the angle from which you shoot. backspin. A good shot with backspin can change the outcome of a game, but such a shot is difficult to perfect. To start, draw a line in front of your target. Try then to hit your target, making your ball come back in the opposite direction to which it was going. So, at the same time as touching the ground, it comes back and crosses the line you've drawn. Well, we've reached the end of this lesson. I would just like to point out, on the 5 continents, there are approximately 10 million people who play petanque, and that the International Federation of Petanque now has 800,000 registered members. I hope you've enjoyed watching. It's been a great pleasure to present this introductory course. See you soon, maybe on a terrain or for some new lessons.